Did he survive? I think that's what's kind of looming over all these characters, that big question, to show the cost.
It was great to see
of
the
letting
reactors
Sovereign,
that thought he
get on
had
his dragon
died
and ride into battle.
and see that he
Someone
was
will have
actually
to run
alive.
his stead.
Hello everyone, this is Venus Brown. I'm back with an Inside the Episode for House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 5, called Regent. Now I'm going to change up the format of this a little bit, so I'll just give the gist of the show, which in this case was the aftermath. The aftermath of the dragon battle, the aftermath of Aegon getting almost completely destroyed, the aftermath of Rhaenys and her dragon Meleys meeting their end, and the aftermath of Daemon going through whatever kind of crazy mindfuck he is going through, along with the aftermath of all the other characters dealing with the consequences of all of these things. Now I'm going to go through the inside the episode, and I might comment a little bit here and there, but remember to stay till the end. I'm going to ask some questions of the episode and answer those questions, such as my best liked and worst liked scenes, the biggest winners and losers of the episode, mastered and deficient acting, along with a quick episode judgment. Was it worthy, detestable, or tolerable? I will include timestamps so you can skip around in the episode if you like. And remember, there may very well be spoilers. I do have a tendency of including some spoilers from the books, maybe the episodes. I try not to go beyond the episode we're on, but there is no guarantee. So you have been warned. There may be spoilers. Let's start the inside episode 5. And we should be good to go.
This episode is very much everybody vying for power, but also it's very much about that happening through grief.
Much of episode 5 revolves around how Rhaenys' death is resonating across all of the different characters, and no one as much as it lands with her husband, Corlys. This poor guy,
I do think they could have put a little bit more into
had every human connection stripped away from him one by one.
Consequences of her
He's
not
sitting in the
being
Hall
there
of
anymore.
Nine, but it means nothing to him anymore because she's gone. And all of this stuff, who cares?
Steve is an incredible actor. He has such deep soul to all of his performances. I had no clue that he was going to have this tear, like this silent tear roll down his face. It was incredibly moving to see it.
So was it real, or was it one of those ones where they put an eye drop in before the scene?
Duskendale and Rook's Rest are gone.
I think everybody's reeling. I mean, Rhaenyra not the least of which. And you hear a lot of this backbiting and bickering going on at the table because everybody is under a tremendous amount of stress. They don't know how to react. But Rhaenyra finds herself at sea. I mean, that was her last great female advisor.
And that's also when Rhaenyra sees this huge power vacuum and knows she's got to do something.
Queen Rhaenyra wishes to name you Hand.
Even the death of my wife does not content her.
She's playing the role of the great politician here. The next best thing next to having Daemon back is one of the most respected men in Westeros, and that's the Sea Snake. And she doesn't exploit Rhaenys' death to do it. She knows that the man is there looking for purpose, probably looking for a bit of vengeance, and she probably takes advantage of that in the moment to try to get him back on side.
The path I walk has never been trod.
What you cannot do, let others do for you. There is more than one way to fight a war.
I think Mysaria's power increases in Rhaenys' absence because I think Rhaenyra is desperate in looking for that sympathetic female voice in her life. Mysaria is offering another way, which is I understand the will of the people, and we can manipulate that and play that to your advantage.
An element of what we're watching is propaganda war, how to win the hearts of the people. And that's all learning that she receives from Mysaria.
I don't think this is something that...
And I know some people don't like Mysaria. A lot of the reactors I listen to don't like her, but...
And it's a bit of a modern concept.
I think she is a positive to have on her side while she can keep her on her side.
In real history, smart and sometimes cunning and ruthless medieval sovereigns did use people and their will to their advantage.
Yeah, they needed to, but yeah, they definitely did. Unfortunately, sometimes they did it in very underhanded ways, but
My words, this is a black omen.
sometimes it really was
This is very
needed.
cool.
His expectations are so high. His expectations are for people to honor him and put him up on a pedestal.
If you look like you've won and you carry yourselves like you've won and the public don't know what's really happened, then that's what everyone's going to believe.
But what happens is so different.
Don't they realize we won the battle?
Because you made a gamble with that freaking dragon.
The calculation that he doesn't make
A gamble that they were not willing to look at.
Is a beloved dragon that
the
probably
way
flew
that
over
you
that
thought
city
they
hundreds of
should.
times and is seen as one of these symbols of the unshakableness of the invincibility of the Targaryens.
I thought the dragons was gods.
You know, as soon as people can see you can kill dragons, well, then anybody can do it. And does that mean that these people that we've always thought of as being gods because of their ability to ride dragons is actually all a bit of a mirage?
This is at best a terrible omen, and at worst a harbinger of the things to come.
The king. Sir Criston, what befell him?
His grace fought valiantly.
And Aemond? What was his part in this?
I could not say.
The dramatic tension that looms over the episode is what is the state of Aegon, and did he survive the end of episode 4? And will he survive through the end of this episode? And I think that's what's kind of looming over all these characters, that big question, to show the cost.
It was great to see
of
the
letting
reactors that thought he
get on
had
his dragon
died
and ride into battle.
and see that
Someone
he
will
was
have to
actually
rule in
alive.
his stead.
It's everything he ever wanted. With great power comes great responsibility, and he's got to be seen as someone who knows how to wield it.
I agree, Your Grace. It must be Prince Aemond.
I mean, this is a massive power shift all of a sudden at the Green Council, as dramatized by the meeting where Aemond takes power in this very kind of banal way, where he just stands up from the foot of the table, takes his ball, and moves over to the king's seat and puts it down and sits, and then starts doling out orders while everybody, including Alicent, especially Alicent, are reeling from the decision. And you feel the shift in that way and how different the Red Keep is going to be with Aemond in charge versus the way it was with Aegon.
Someone cut down the fucking rat catchers.
Our terms are simple, Lord Bracken. Renounce the false King Aegon as a usurper. Bend the knee to me, or your house burns.
Daemon approaches life always trying to
I was
hammer that
excited
square
when I
peg
saw
into
him
the
out,
round
but,
hole, and he's just trying to force his will upon this place.
Yeah, he's
I
trying
love
to
the image
force
of
his
him
will,
in
and
his
it is
in his
not
full
going
like
his
dragon
way.
battle armor, sitting on the rock and not understanding what's
I'm glad
happened,
it's not.
and saying,
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
and the Riverlands is just this unwranglable place to him. He's brought his values and sort of Targaryen dragon lord values into a place that is rich with the old gods and these old ways. These people just don't respect the dragon lords the way Daemon is hoping or used to.
Seer must begin here with a lesson in etiquette.
On the page, I thought, yeah, this is the right territory. This is where we should be. This is where his head's at. It's how mental his kind of state is.
Is Daemon trying to usurp Rhaenyra? It's like unfair that he wasn't given the crown, that he isn't listened to, that he doesn't have that power.
We just don't know what
He
he's going
made
to
his
do, or
bed.
ultimately how
He's the one that
he's going to
created that
turn.
situation.
And while I don't think that anybody
That
could
he
ever be
lost the
asked to
crown.
believe that he would turn against Rhaenyra and like go to war against her, I think we could all believe that maybe
And
Daemon
he's
would just
still
go
not
and claim
willing
the
to
throne
take
for
responsibility
himself
for
and then
any
see
of
what
what he
happens.
did.
What would you call the husband of the queen?
Oh, the king.
There it is then.
Consort.
That last bit seems unnecessary, don't you think?
Not at all. All right, so now we're going to ask some questions of the show, starting with my best liked scene and my least liked scene. And for me, the best scene was when Bela confronted Corlys about accepting Rhaenyra's request that he become hand to the queen. She just tells it like it is and says exactly what she thinks, which I think is what he really needs. I don't know if that is going to get him all the way there, but I was really glad she did it, and I thought it was really a stellar performance. My least liked scene, which I think a lot of people have the same opinion, the sex scene with Daemon and his mother. Yeah, it was in his imagination with whatever fucked up shit is going on in his head, whether it be because of Harrenhal or Alice or just him being all kinds of fucked up. It was very disturbing, and I don't understand its place in the show. But yeah, a lot of people were very disturbed by it, and it was definitely my least liked scene. Winner of the episode, I'm going to say, was Jace. He managed a multifaceted deal with the phrase, which I think he got a decent amount in return for their request for defending them and their request to hopefully take over in Harrenhal. Now, I don't think that happens, at least in the books. I don't recall that ever happening. So, oh well, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. But also, after he maneuvered that, he goes home, he talks to his mom. His mom is proud of him, which is great. And then she explains this problem that they're having of not having enough dragons. And he's like, no, we have plenty of dragons. There's no dearth of dragons here. And of course, she's like, yeah, but without riders, what are we really going to do with those dragons? They're stuck in the dungeons and they're not being ridden. We can't use them in this war without a rider. So he suggests the dragon seeds, which I really thought Daemon was going to be the one to suggest these. I know when her throne was first usurped, Daemon was the first one to say, hey, we have all these dragons. As far as I can tell on the show, he has not said anything about the possibility of using these other people that might have Valyrian bloodlines. But either way, I thought the interventions that he did are going to help to move this thing forward and should help to improve their lot in this war, because right now they are not doing well. And for me, the biggest losers of the episode were the small folk. The Brackens and the treatment that they got once Daemon came up with this idea of how they could cajole them using methods that the royal family could not be seen using. The small folks stuck in King's Landing, especially Hugh Hammer's child, who looked quite gray when he was at that gate trying to get out. So yeah, I felt they were definitely the biggest losers in this episode through absolutely no fault of their own. Now, for master acting on this episode, I'm giving it to the River Lord that came in defense against Daemon the Tyrant. I thought that acting was phenomenal, and it really dragged home the point that not only is Daemon not getting support from these people, his actions are causing them to run the other way and refuse to support them, specifically because of Daemon's horrible actions. Hopefully he'll pay attention to that and he'll actually do something positive with it, but I don't know yet. Haven't seen the episode. I've heard little bits and pieces of what might be going on in some of the other episodes, since I think pretty much all the episodes are out now, but I don't know the details of any of the episodes from here on out, so we'll see. And for the deficient acting, I'm going to go with Aemon's smug looks. He gives the same smug look very frequently for a variety of things. And sure, that's Aemon's look. That's kind of just how he is when he's being smug. I don't know. Like all the shit that he's done, I feel like he could put a little more into it. Give us a little bit more information. Give us a little bit more emotion and a little bit more of what the heck is going on in his mind. Just giving that smug look every time something happens that he's kind of happy about or not happy about. I just feel like we need more. And my judgment for the episode, I'm giving it a meh. I'm not giving it a detestable judgment, because I don't think it was that bad. Some of the exposition, the setup, the dealing with what the consequences are after this happened and setting us up for the stuff that's to come, that doesn't bother me. I don't mind it. And I don't need a freaking battle scene or something massively dramatic every episode. Seeing Aegon's injuries and all the freaking burning and the blood and all of that, that was dramatic enough. For me. I don't know about everybody else, but that was plenty. And then the whole dealing with Corlys and how he's feeling about his wife being dead and everybody else trying to wrap their head around it and figure out what they're going to do from here on out, because they've lost Rhaenys, a very wise, a very powerful person, and Meleys, I think their biggest dragon that actually has a rider. So yeah, I felt like there was plenty going on. It wasn't the greatest. There were definitely some funky things going on we could have done without, or that could have been handled a little bit differently, but I don't think it was that bad, and I don't think it was that good. So today's episode gets a meh. That's all I got for you this week. I will see you next week. Bye.
Until next time, I'll see you when I see you. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.